Welcome to the story Nebula. Join Captain Sarah Chen's quest through the stars. Like, share, and subscribe for more adventures.
Captain Sarah Chen stared at the unfamiliar stars through the bridge viewport of the TSS Horizon. Nothing matched their star charts. Quantum jump that was supposed to take them to Proxima Centauri had gone catastrophically wrong, leaving them stranded in an unknown region of space. "Damage report," she called out, her voice steady despite the fear churning in her stomach. Lieutenant James Rodriguez, her chief engineer, responded from his station. "Main drive is offline. Quantum jump core is completely fried. Life support stable. Hull integrity at 92%. Ensign Maya Patel shook her head. "None of the stellar patterns match our database, Captain. We're completely lost." 87 crew members, all looking to her for answers. Sarah took a deep breath and activated the ship-wide comm. "This is the captain speaking. As you've no doubt realized, our quantum jump has malfunctioned. We are currently working to determine our location and restore full system functionality. Department heads, report to the conference room in 10 minutes. Chen out." The conference room felt smaller than usual as her senior staff gathered around the table. Dr. Emily Wong, their chief medical officer, spoke first. "We have enough medical supplies for 6 months at normal usage rates. I can stretch that to 9 months if we're careful." Lieutenant Marcus Thompson, head of hydroponics, nodded grimly. "Food and water recycling systems are functioning at optimal levels. We can sustain the crew indefinitely as long as the systems don't fail." "The question is," Security Chief David Kapoor interjected, "how do we get home when we don't even know where we are?" James spread his hands on the table. "The quantum jump core is beyond repair. We burnt out half the circuits trying to contain the cascade failure. But our conventional drive is salvageable. Give me 2 weeks. I can get us moving again." Sarah nodded. "Maya, what about navigation? I'm working on a new stellar mapping program. If we can find any recognizable patterns, even at a massive scale, we might be able to triangulate our position. But Captain, we could be anywhere. The quantum jump malfunction could have sent us thousands of light years off course." The weight of their situation settled over the room. Even with conventional drive, getting home could take decades, if they could find their way at all. Sarah stood, placing her hands on the table. "We focus on what we can control. James, get that drive running. Maya, keep working on those star charts. Emily, inventory everything in medical. Marcus, I want contingency plans for hydroponic system failures. David, run security drills. We need to stay sharp." Dismissed. Over the next 2 weeks, the crew settled into their new reality. James and his engineering team worked around the clock on the conventional drive. Maya spent hours at her station, analyzing stellar patterns. The rest of the crew maintained their routines, trying to preserve some sense of normalcy. Sarah made a point of being visible, eating in the mess hall, visiting different departments, listening to concerns. She knew morale would be their biggest challenge. Hope was as crucial as oxygen for survival. On day 16, James called her to engineering. "We're ready for engine test, Captain. If this works, we'll have about 80% of normal thrust capacity." Sarah watched as he initiated the startup sequence. The deck plates hummed beneath her feet. Status indicators turned green one by one. "Engine test successful," James announced, relief evident in his voice. "We can move again." "Good work. Now we just need to know which way to go." That answer came 3 days later. Maya's voice shook with excitement over the comm. "Captain, you need to see this." On the bridge, Maya pulled up a complex stellar map on the main screen. "I've been looking at this all wrong. Instead of trying to match individual stars, I started looking at galaxy clusters. Captain, I think I know where we are." She highlighted a particular pattern of lights. "This is the Carina Nebula cluster. We've jumped almost 7,000 light years from Earth. 7,000 light years. Even with their fastest conventional speed, the journey home would take centuries." Sarah saw the same realization dawn on the faces of her bridge crew. "Options?" she asked. Maya hesitated. "There might be one. During the quantum jump failure, we picked up some unusual readings. Similar to the quantum wake our jumps usually create, but different. I think there might be natural quantum corridors in this region of space." "Natural jump points?" James leaned forward at his station. The energy required would be enormous. Yes, but they exist. If we can locate one, maybe we can use it. It's risky, but it's better than spending several lifetimes trying to get home, Sarah finished. How do we find these corridors? It took another month of scanning and analysis before they located their first quantum corridor. It appeared as a subtle distortion in space, almost invisible to their sensors. James studied the readings with concern. The energy patterns are chaotic. If we try to enter it, we could end up worse off than we are now. Or we could get closer to home, Sarah countered. Maya, can you predict where it leads? Not exactly, but based on the quantum resonance patterns, I believe it exits somewhere in the Perseus arm. That would put us about 2,000 light-years closer to Earth. Sarah called a ship-wide meeting in the cargo bay, the only space large enough to hold the entire crew. She explained the situation and the choice they faced. I won't make this decision alone, she concluded. We all have a stake in this. We can take the safe route, settle in for a multi-generation journey home, or we can risk the quantum corridor, hoping it takes us closer rather than further away. We'll put it to a vote. The crew debated for hours. Some argued for caution, others for bold action. In the end, the vote wasn't even close. 79 in favor of trying the corridor, 8 against. Preparations took another week. They reinforced structural integrity fields, modified shields to handle quantum stress, and ran countless simulations. When they were as ready as they could be, Sarah gave the order. The Horizon approached the quantum corridor slowly. On the bridge, tension crackled like static electricity. Shield modifications holding, James reported. Engine output stable. Quantum field intensity increasing, Maya added. We're approaching the entry point. Sarah gripped her chair arms. Take us in. The sensation was different from their normal quantum jumps. Instead of the usual smooth transition, this felt like being caught in a whirlpool. The ship shuddered. Warning alarms blared. Hull stress at maximum tolerances, James shouted over the noise. Containment fields failing. Reroute power from non-essential systems, Sarah ordered. Maya, how long? 30 seconds to corridor exit. Those 30 seconds felt like hours. Systems failed across the ship. The lights flickered. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut as sections lost pressure. Then suddenly, it was over. The Horizon burst back into normal space, trailing quantum energy like cosmic fire. Damage report, Sarah called out as systems came back online. Multiple hull breaches sealed by emergency systems, James replied. Drive functioning at 40% capacity, life support stable in most sections. Maya, where are we? The navigation officer worked her console frantically. Confirming position now. Captain, it worked. We're in the Perseus arm, approximately 4,800 light-years from Earth. A cheer went up from the bridge crew. They'd cut nearly 3,000 light-years off their journey in less than a minute. But their celebration was short-lived. As damage reports came in, they realized the cost of their success. 3 crew members had been seriously injured during the transition. 2 hydroponics bays were destroyed, and the structural damage would take months to repair. Over the next few weeks, they worked to rebuild. The injured crew recovered under Emily's care. Marcus managed to salvage enough from the damaged hydroponics bays to maintain food production. James and his team repaired what they could. They found more quantum corridors, each offering a potential shortcut home. But each jump took a toll on the ship and crew. They had to pause between attempts, making repairs and gathering resources. 6 months into their journey, they'd made 4 successful jumps. Each one brought them closer to home, but the Horizon was showing the strain. More systems failed with each transition. The hull was patched in dozens of places. After their 5th jump, Sarah called her senior staff together again. We can maybe manage 1 more jump, James reported. After that, the structural integrity will be too compromised. We'll literally shake apart if we try another. Maya pulled up her latest navigation data. The good news is, we're only about 900 light-years from Earth now. I've located another corridor that could get us within 100 light-years of home. But we might not survive the attempt, Sarah finished. The room fell silent as they contemplated their options. They'd come so far, lost so much. To play it safe now meant consigning the crew to decades of conventional travel. But 1 more jump could get them close enough to send a distress signal to Earth. We put it to a vote again, Sarah decided. But this time, anyone who wants to leave the ship before we try can take the long-range shuttle. It won't get them home faster, but it might be safer than risking another jump. The second vote was closer than the first, 62 for the jump, 25 for taking their chances on a longer, safer journey. Those who chose to leave said their goodbyes 2 days later. The shuttle was stocked with supplies and a copy of all their navigational data. Sarah watched it pull away from the horizon, carrying 25 souls on their own long journey home. For those who remained, the next jump would be all or nothing. They spent 3 weeks making every possible preparation. Systems were stripped from non-essential areas to reinforce critical sections. Emergency protocols were revised and drilled. On the day of the jump, Sarah addressed the crew one last time. We all knew the risks when we voted. Whatever happens next, I want you to know how proud I am of this crew. We've faced impossible odds together, and we've come this far by supporting each other. If we make it through this jump, we'll be close enough to contact Earth. If we don't, it has been an honor serving with each of you. The approach to the quantum corridor felt different this time, maybe because they knew it was their last attempt. Maybe because the ship was held together as much by hope as by engineering. Entering corridor in 30 seconds, Maya announced. Sarah looked around her bridge, James at engineering, his hands steady on his console despite the stakes. Maya at navigation, face lit by her displays, her crew, her family. Take us home, she ordered. The horizon plunged into the quantum corridor. The ship screamed around them, metal and circuits pushed beyond their limits. Warning systems wailed as sections began to decompress. Containment failing, James shouted. We're breaking up. Reroute everything to structural integrity, Sarah commanded. Everything. Life support, weapons, everything. The lights died. Emergency power cast the bridge in red shadows. They flew blind through the quantum storm. Maya's voice cut through the chaos. Exit in 10 seconds. 9, 8. Sarah felt the deck buckling beneath her feet. 7, 6, 5. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut throughout the ship. 4, 3, 2. Hold together, Sarah whispered to her ship. Just hold together. 1. The horizon erupted from the quantum corridor in a shower of plasma and debris. Systems failed across the ship. Lights, gravity, and life support flickered in and out. When the emergency power stabilized, Sarah looked up at the view screen. Through the cracks in the armored glass, she saw familiar stars. And there, just visible against the black of space, was a blue-white dot she recognized immediately. Maya? Her voice shook, confirming position. Captain, we're 87 light-years from Earth, and we're picking up Federation transmission signals. Tears floated in the zero gravity as the bridge crew celebrated. They'd made it. Not all the way home, but close enough. Close enough to send a message. Close enough to be rescued. 3 weeks later, Sarah stood in the observation lounge, watching the Federation rescue fleet approach. The horizon had carried them over 7,000 light-years through unknown space. She was broken now, too damaged to ever fly again. But she had gotten her crew home.
Thanks for tuning in to the story Nebula. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more epic adventures. Keep your imagination soaring, and see you next time.